Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever episode of The Electrical Box. I'm your host, Bro Powers, and with me today is the co-host,
BenRob0329. Hello, everybody.
So today, we got some headlines for you. We got headlines for all walks of life. So join us. We got news up the wazoo. We'll be right there. So, first major headline. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle got married this week. Aw, isn't that beautiful? A royal wedding between royalty and an actress. It kind of makes you wonder how that all went down. Just like, I really like your movies. And she's like, I like your money. It's a match made in heaven, dude. Lord Harry is now the Duke of Sussex. And also, Miss Markle will now be known as Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. So, But Oprah Winfrey was there, and so was Elton John. Neat. But, they were halfway across the country watching. They're just like, oh, this ain't creepy. Okay.
They're just sitting on the other side of the country, just staring with binoculars.
Yeah, if you actually watch the live broadcast of it, Oprah is hundreds of yards away, and they're having to zoom in. She's just like, wasn't that beautiful?
She's watching it from the other side of the state.
A little bit creepy.
Oh, wow, it's beautiful.
They're like, this is why we didn't invite you, Oprah. This is why we didn't invite you.
Oh my gosh.
Gosh, dang it. She just gets into everything.
All right, moving on.
All right, so in other news,
back over here in the U.S., we've got Trump demanding that the Justice Department examine whether it or the FBI spied on his presidential campaign.
So we got one of Donald Trump's tweets. I hereby demand, and will do so officially tomorrow, that the Department of Justice look into whether or not the FBI/DOJ, which means Department of Justice, for some of you that don't know, infiltrated or surveilled the Trump campaign for political purposes, and if any such demands or requests were made by people within the Obama administration. It kind of gets sad when it's like, even the president's just kind of like, it was kind of weird that I won. Just like, that is kind of weird. But I've said this before. I think the only spy that changed things for the whole campaign was just a squirrel chewing on a landline. That's what I think. But the tweet comes after it was reported that the FBI dispatched a confidential source to speak with some aides to Trump's presidential campaign about its possible ties to Russia, according to multiple reports Friday. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Get those guys out, Trump.
Alright, over in the tech department, we've got YouTube Red is dead. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we finally didn't win yet. Introducing YouTube Premium. That is the headline of the blog post. I think you can see where this is going. Basically, they've replaced YouTube Red and Google Play Music with YouTube Premium and YouTube Music, which basically means there's still premium content. YouTube TV is still rolling out as a thing. I got an email for that not too long ago. And YouTube Originals, basically they're trying to be Netflix, and they're going to charge you money for it. But hey, you get to download from YouTube when you could already do that.
Wait,
without
what?
paying $12 a month.
So darn?
So let's see here. You get ad-free music, you get to listen in the background, you get downloads, you get ad-free video, you get to play in the background, you get downloads, and you get all YouTube Originals. But here's the thing. You're paying $12 a month to do things that I can do without paying $12 a month in the first place. Like listening to the background.
Just open up a freaking tab.
Yeah, just open a tab. If you have Firefox or Chrome on your phone, that'll play it in the background. Firefox needs a little add-on to make YouTube cooperate with that, but then it just works in the background. If you need to download, you got YouTube DL, you got Flashscot, you got all the different things that you can already use to download. Ad blockers, obviously, or Adnicium, I think that's how you pronounce it. If you want to click on the ads and send clicks to Google so that they'll pay the creator without you having to see the ad.
Nice.
Still in Google land, we've got Chrome evolving security indicators. Basically, they've removed the secure label on HTTPS sites in order to push a secure first format. So basically, for now, you'll still see a little lock icon when you have an encrypted connection. However, they're moving their UX design towards showing the problems with the website security rather than what's good about it.
Okay, so say I go onto a website, and if it's secure, it will show me that it's secure.
Correct. But what they're moving towards is that it won't tell you it's secure, it'll tell you that it's insecure.
Okay.
And now moving over to a different category of tech news, NASA is sending a helicopter to Mars. NASA is sending a specially designed helicopter whose rotors spin much, much faster than anything here on Earth to Mars on the next mission to the Red Planet.
So you're saying we will become Martians soon. We are becoming Martians soon.
Well, our technology is anyways.
And one of our top headlines for today, Trump keeps touting a deal with China on trade, and markets are loving it. President Donald Trump touted a new trade agreement with Chinese government on Monday, saying the deal would decrease trade tensions. The deal includes very few specifics aside from the delay of U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin said details were still being worked out. Stock markets react favorably to the news. China has agreed to buy massive amount of additional farm/agricultural goods, would be one of the best things to happen to our farmers in many years, Trump said. Markets react favorably to the development with Dow Jones Industrial Average surging more than 360 points by mid-morning. Dang. People are licking their lips with all that money flowing in, boy. This is not some term sheet for a cooperative financial deal, Kudlow said during the CNBC interview. This is a very complicated deal for the two most complex economies in the world. So, basically, it's pretty vague. The whole term is pretty vague, and from what Kudlow is seeing of this, it seems like a very open deal, and that it's not going to do very well for our economy and all that. So,
time will tell.
China promises to increase purchases of U.S. agricultural and energy products. The purchases of agricultural products have gone up by 35 to 40%. Okay, see, it sounds like this is going well. It sounds like it's just so vague that people just can't understand it at this point. So it's like you just got two people on the other side of the spectrum like, oh, this is doing great.
Yeah, and other people are like, this is going to end horribly, which is generally how most things go politically.
Yeah. I mean, I like to say I could trust Trump with this, and I mean, hey, he's been doing some okay stuff, but whatever. But I don't know about this one. Kind of sounds kind of sketchy. A little bit sketchy. I don't know. Anyway,
I think a lot of things having to do with China are probably pretty sketchy.
Yeah. China was made in China. I mean, that's how sketchy it is. Let's just say, So that is it for the first session of news. Now, let's get into our topic. Ben, tell us what the topic is about.
Today's topic is future technology. The future is now, but unfortunately not Back to the Future, because we can't have our hoverboards yet,
And self-lacing shoes, you son of...
Why have self-lacing shoes when you could just have laceless shoes, though?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in the future. this I thought was pretty interesting. New Hyperloop photo shows capsule sleek windowless interior. This is actually looking pretty cool. It's basically just, it's a very futuristic looking interior of like what looks like in a jet or something. It's just very nice, cozy, like white theme feel, and it's like, so apparently you gonna be shooting really fast. I think these are gonna be like underground from the sounds of it, and it's like it's basically gonna be a subway kind of system, but it's just gonna be capsules instead. This tube is gonna be approaching speeds to close up to 700 miles per hour. Woo! All their hair is just gonna fly off your body, dude. I mean, if passengers do feel hemmed in, they won't for long. The 87-mile Hyperloop ride between Dubai and Abu Dhabi, I think that's how you pronounce that, is projected to take about 12 minutes. Although it's unclear when the route might open, the same trip takes about 90 minutes by car. That's crazy, dude. So, only in Dubai.
There's like one city in California that does it, but it's like a little loop.
Yeah, it just goes in a circle. It's like almost, they probably call it like the human-sized hamster wheel or something. Like, alright. So, let me say we take a little looky at this video.
Since last year, the company has successfully reflown 11 rocket boosters previously sent to space. In February, it made history when its Falcon Heavy became the most powerful rocket ever launched by a private company.
Now, longer term, both you and Elon have expressed this vision to see rocket launches that are as regular as airliner flights. When does that happen?
Obviously, the market has to grow a bit. We launched 18 times last year, served the market. As I said, this year we'll launch just under 30, serving the market. And we're doing probably 60% of the launches across the globe. So in order to launch every day, you have to have a lot more launches. And I think once we're flying people, that could actually be realized.
There is more competition expected to come online over the next couple of years, be it Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin, United Launch Alliance, Boeing's SLS, etc. How do you continue to maintain that lead?
We love competition, by the way. I think when you start brushing off competition, then you are on the path to death. So it's important to have competition kind of biting at you to keep you sharp, keep you moving quickly, keep you thinking about future products.
So, we could be going to Mars.
You have to think, it's just like, at this point, it's going to be kind of like just sail across the ocean. It's like, now it's going to be like that again, but it's like space.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dang. It's like, what? Yeah, I really took a fascination in this video. It was really an interesting read, an interesting watch. But the fact that it's like, it's not like, hey, we're going to space. It's just like, hey, this is like stuff we can reuse. It's like, we're reusing parts. We're not just wasting it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is really nice.
And helps to cut down on the costs and get us towards the goal of going to space.
You just gotta admit, it's a cool idea. Could be going to Mars. Soon. Possibly. 2024. You realize how soon that is?
6 years away?
That's not very far.
It's over half a decade.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, dude. Like, that's not very long, though.
Relatively speaking, no. That's well within most everyone's lifetime that has an interest in actually going to space at this point.
Like, are you kidding me? We could be going to space? What? I don't know. I thought it was interesting. Whether it's going to happen or not, I have no clue. But I think this would be something interesting to, like, you know, to just be following up on. It's just like,
I would be very interested to see what competitors to SpaceX end up doing when they roll out.
well, my question is, will they have a competitor? Like, would they have an honest-to-God competitor when it comes?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's what I'm wondering. It's like, will there be anybody to, like, face off with them?
Or will they just be so far ahead that it'll just take an immense amount of time for anyone else to get to the point of being competitive? Alright, into semi-tech, semi-political news here. Uber removes the clause in their terms of use that would require someone who was violated to settle outside of court through arbitration. Which basically means, before now, you could have been screwed in the car and you wouldn't have been able to settle it in court. You would have had to settle it through arbitration with Uber. And the person who was an a-hole. This is the most PG way of I can put it.
Dang, you brought out the screwed, dude. What the crap? This is a family show. Anyway, yeah, that's messed up, dude. Well, like, how would you think they would, like, be able to, how would they be able to get away with that, though? It's just like, dang, that just kind of shows how much
Because arbitration is legal in the United States. It's a sad truth, but it is.
This kind of shows you kind of how garbage our law system kind of is. I mean, some of the laws are really good, but some of the other ones is just like who was the a-hole that came up with this, in the words of you? Who's the guy that who's the a-hole that came up with this one?
Didn't want to who didn't want their company to be sued, I would assume.
Probably.
Because if you stop and think about it, you know, if you're hauling his behind into court, you're probably gonna haul the company who didn't do a background check into court as well.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of a big problem with Uber, is that they don't do the checks and the training that, say, taxi drivers have to take, and licensing and crap, and it's just, oh, hey, hop in this stranger's car and have at it. Problem is, some people have at it in the wrong way.
I mean, a guy could just get out of a bar from drinking and just start Uber driving, dude. I mean,
he could.
All right, moving into another segment of the show. This headline reads, Gender Inequality. Stars tell world leaders poverty is sexist. So, I will say, reading through this, it's much different than I thought it was. I mean, it's still somewhat related, but it's much different than I thought it would be. But, you know, here she is, back at it again. Oprah Winfrey. Hey, Oprah. It's like everything. Just put a little Oprah on everything. Just like...
Just a little Oprah face. It's like, oh, there's an Oprah branded TV behind us. Oh, there's an Oprah branded door back there. Oh, there's Yeah,
it's like she just has like her own brand of like butter, so it's just like everybody's
there's an
putting
Oprah
a
branded
little
underwear.
Yeah, like putting a little Oprah on your... Would you like some Oprah on your toast? Oprah Winfrey. My gosh. When you need to settle down. I said it once, I'll say it again. You need to settle down, lady. Anyway, so Oprah Winfrey and a bunch of other movie stars signed this, you know, signatory, from the sounds of it, that was led by the international charity One, as you know, as they like to spell it. Anyway, so, but with 140 signatories, demand a commitment to help every girl get an education for leaders to use their power to deliver historical changes for women. Okay, so in the very basic breakdown, women that are in poverty. So, and let's specify what poverty. We're talking like you're living in a shoebox apartment and there's cockroaches crawling all over you, down to you're living in a New York street alley, stuffing your shirt with newspapers because that's the only form of insulation you're going to get tonight. That's what we're talking about. That kind of poverty. And so apparently men have more opportunities of getting out of poverty than, say, a woman would. Which, I hate to say it, I can't say that that's probably not true. Because it quite possibly could be. And especially after I've been reading quite a few things about, the gender pay gap, and then there's then there's a whole bunch of firms. Firms are like paying women less than men, there's a lot of different things. So it's like, at this point, I can't say that this isn't probably true. So, basically, they're trying to make it to where women could have an equal opportunity of having a better life, being able to have a better life from a poverty status. So, that sounds great and all. It's just like, but now you're saying poverty is sexist. Now let's only focus on the women. And that's all they're mentioning on this. So I've been looking into this a bit, and that's all they're talking about. It's like, if poverty is truly sexist, why are you making a petition only for women? Let's give men and women equal rights of getting out of poverty. Instead of just being like, hey, we're only going to focus on women. Let's work on both, the men and the women. Because now you're kind of, I don't know, is it fair to say that they're kind of making it sexist by trying to say that it's sexist and only focusing on one gender?
Now, I can understand wanting to focus on the group with the biggest problem, which may very well be women nowadays, which, from what I understand, is getting better. And sure. People will argue for or against whether it's better or worse, or people or crap like that. I'm not going into that. But I can understand tackling the biggest group of people with a problem. But my question is, what are you going to do after it's not the biggest group? Are you going to continue to only target that group, or are you going to open it up to other groups once the playing field has been leveled?
Yeah,
and why
exactly.
are you focusing only on getting people out of poverty instead of fixing the reasons why they went into poverty in the first place?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird, odd situation. It's just like, yeah, and I get what you're saying. It's like, it makes sense. Focus on the people that need it most right now. But in the end, is it only going to help the women? Only? Because if it's only going to help the women, then I must say, if we're not equal, no one is equal. That's how this headline finished. I'm not trying to mock them, but it's just,
it is technically true if one group is unequally treated to another, then the other group is not treated equally to the first group. That is technically true.
Yeah.
But the way it's said a lot of times makes it come off very snob-like.
We've gotten to this state with society, at least from my point of view. It's like, once you start doing something, they don't stop it. Or don't think of anything else afterwards. It's just kind of like, here, we're only going to focus on this woman problem. And then that's all they're going to focus on. Real quickly here, we got a gender pay gap for cricket players, female cricket players. They're getting paid 38% less than males. Woo! Yikes! Dang, that's not half, but dang, that's almost close. Alright, so, yeah, and most firms are paying women around 40-some% less than men. For some of them. And to me, that's crazy. That's even worse than cricket players.
California police detained Bob Marley's granddaughter for staying at an Airbnb while black. So basically, a group of her friends, and I'm not going to try to pronounce her name, because I would butcher it terribly. Basically, the neighbor saw the group, and the group did not, quote-unquote, wave back. That sounds kind of fishy. So basically, she called the police, not realizing that the neighbor had rented the place out through Airbnb, and the police got there, and they're apparently the least hit police on the planet, because they had no idea that you could... They had no idea what Airbnb was, and or they had no idea that they had anyone doing Airbnbs over there, which also leads into the fact that the guy doing it didn't check for legal stuff before renting out his apartment. So basically what happened was, is what it's being made out to be, is that they were detained because of their color and its bigotry and racism, which isn't necessarily true. It's difficult to gauge things like this when you aren't in the shoes of the police officers, but in the police report, it's honestly probably the nicest sounding encounter with the police who suspect you of burglary I've ever seen. Because they let them out of the car to help try to locate the owner and get the information sorted out and get everything worked out. And it was like 45 minutes and they were good and gone. Rather than, we're going to take you downtown and have the owner come and get you out, which is what you would expect from something like this, and from saying that they were detained, which I don't think that detained is quite the right word for this. So the other thing is that it wasn't an all-black group. It was a slightly mixed group. Say slightly. There was one person of fair skin, and it's a mixed neighborhood. So the police are not in an all-white neighborhood. They're in a mixed neighborhood around people who aren't racist, and everything's being made out to be racist when there's a misunderstanding because the person is black. And this bugs me, not because I think that it's okay to come off as a racist, but because it's being made out to be something it's probably not.
I was blown way out of proportion. Well, it's just like, just that whole story sounded kind of weird,
Specifically to quote from the police report, during the course of the 22-minute encounter, police officers determined that the people were Airbnb renters and were in the residence as guests. Though, through reasonable inquiry, officers learned the residence was an unlicensed Airbnb in the city of Railto. At no time during the encounter did officers use any form of restraints with the involved people, and actually allowed them to exit their vehicle and assist officers in locating the owner of the unlicensed Airbnb to confirm that there had been no crime committed. People were immediately released without incident, and officers cleared the call at 13:08 p.m. So basically, friendliest police encounter I've ever heard of, aside from, "Excuse me, ma'am, but your tail light's out."
I don't know, that sounded pretty racist to me. I don't know.
Yeah, you think that there's a burglary, and now could the neighbor have been racist for calling it in? Perhaps. I don't know. Saying they didn't wave and thus you thought they were being sneaky sounds slightly reasonable and slightly insane.
Yes, it kind of sounds a little impulsive, to be honest. Just kind of
slightly. But I don't think that the police officers were being racist. I think the police officers were trying to make the best of the situation, but they're being made out to be racist, which is really sad.
Well, it's just gotten sad to the point where it's like, if there's just police and black people in the same conversation, it's, whoa, Nelly. Like, just step back.
It's a whole political nuclear bomb.
It's like, it's terrible. It's just like, dude, it's like...
The problem is that there are some racist cops, which gives all police a bad name.
Yeah, but that's kind of a poor excuse, though. It's like, yeah, it could give them a bad name, but it's like, to judge every single cop just because it's like, hey, one or two of them on the force. No one knows. In certain places, it might be all of them. I have no clue. But it's just like, to say every single cop is like this evil, racist guy that's gonna just pick you up, take you to jail just because you're black. It's like, to be honest, some black people do bad things. To be honest, some white people do bad things.
And to be honest,
everyone does it.
And to be honest, the majority of people in the United States of America are white. So the majority of crime is going to be committed by white people. Now the problem is that a lot of African American communities tend to be in bad parts of town. So there does tend to be more crime surrounded. So you do end up with the racists who use that as an excuse. And you end up with just a bunch of different crap. And it's just, just everything about the political situation nowadays with racism is just sad. Yeah, people calling racist for people who are trying to make the best of a situation. You got people saying that it's the natural way things are done for people who are trying to be racist, or simply are racist, I should say. And you've got people who are just like, what the crap?
What a bunch of dingleberries.
Okay, back at the tech news. Having to do with Google again. But this time it's good. Because they're finally making an augmented reality headset like everyone thought Google Glass was going to be before it flopped. Because everyone found out it's just a heads-up display.
What?
Google is reportedly developing a standalone augmented reality headset to take on Microsoft HoloLens, a cable-free system that does not require a tethered PC to drive it. I'm quoting Gear here. The rumors come after the launch of the first standalone Daydream headset and the Lenovo Mirage Solo, which packages a full virtual reality system into a single wearable. Basically, Google is taking on Microsoft with the HoloLens, and then in a related headline, Apple is making something along the lines of an AR or VR headset, but they're just rumors at this point. Which could drive the market even further into that field, which means we could see some very interesting technologies on the verge. I, for one, would love to see more 3D modeling and workflows done in virtual reality. And while I personally can't afford a headset, being someone who has tinkered around with Blender, it'd be awesome to be able to put on a headset and just look around the thing you're making and see where things aren't lining up, because it's a bit of a pain to make sure everything lines up when you're using a camera system in any number of softwares. So it'd be very awesome to be able to physically look around and shift your view to see stuff.
Well, if you're in love with it that much, I'll just set up a Kickstarter for you, dude.
Fund my VR?
Yeah, dude. We're gonna get you a VR headset, dude. Guys, if you want to help Ben's dream of seeing 3D models in virtual reality, take the link in the description. He'll lead you to a Kickstarter. What? Ben, did you leave it out?
I might have.
Ben, I just plugged you, dude.
I mean, I don't need a VR.
You're gonna cut this out, right?
What?
You're gonna cut this out, right?
Sure.
Good. I would have looked stupid if I just started saying that crap.
And for our final tech news headline today, and I believe our final headline period, Xbox is making an adaptive controller. So basically, it's a controller that you can plug in, say, a foot pedal, or move the different bits around. And it's basically like a board with controls on it for people who are disabled or going through physical therapy, to allow them to still be able to play games and use software, but in a way that is more accessible to them. So people who have like a defective hand or something of that sort can use one hand and a foot, say, and things of that sort, to still be able to play the Xbox, I guess. Because priorities, right?
dude, if you got Fortnite, you need it. If you're missing an arm, you want to play Fortnite, you need to buy this. You need to buy this. For you PC users, well, you're just out of luck. Unless you're able to plug in a controller, I suppose. I guess you could. Yeah, if you have a controller that you can,
Yeah, you probably could. It's probably just Bluetooth or whatever Xbox controllers normally are.
Should do. Okay, so basically, if you want to play Fortnite, which is the go-to videos right now. Actually, I don't even know why we're doing this, Ben. Ben, I don't even know why we're talking about this stuff. We should be talking about Fortnite news and about Ninja, how he's been killing and wrecking people.
Right.
But anyway, but you were wrong, Ben. There is one more story, possibly.
There is?
Another? Nah, we still got the Loch Ness Monster Hunt continues as scientists turn to DNA sampling. Wow, they're getting desperate. Anyway, so basically, what's going to be going on is they're going to be some scientists. They're going to mosey on down to the Loch Ness, and they're going to start testing the water for DNA. And basically, they're swabbing the water. They're swabbing the water.
They just go crouch down with a little Q-tip, just swab the surface of the water.
Yeah,
Alright, guys, I think that's enough DNA on this one.
Oh, an unidentifiable cell. Oh, well, we got our Loch Ness monster. So yeah, that's about it, really. It's like they're just like, yeah, as creatures swim through the water, everything that moves, they always are leaving behind some kind of form of residue of themselves behind. So basically, what their theory is that if they test the water and swab it, they can get maybe, possibly, some unknown DNA from the water of Loch Ness, and possibly be like, well, hey, we at least know there's something unidentified in there. Now we know at least there is something. Which is interesting. It's interesting. It's an interesting idea. It's the most unique idea I've heard so far. We're going to put a cage in the water. We're going to put a giant fish hook in the water. See if Nessie nibbles. Yeah, dude.
Like a shark comes up and just bites it.
Yeah, dude. A shark in Loch Ness.
I didn't say
I guess that would be crazy. It's just like, holy crap. Freshwater sharks. Yeah, that'd be nuts, dude. I'd be crapping myself.
Freshwater sharks, now that's a scary thought.
Yeah, dude. Alright, well.
Someone's gonna tell us in the comments that there are actually freshwater sharks.
I think there is. I actually do think. I'm not quite sure. There probably is.
Probably.
But
or
not very
that
many,
is
though.
Closely related to a shark that can technically be considered a shark.
Yeah. So, yeah,
we got one more headline.
We do have one more?
Yeah.
Just one more?
Just one more.
Okay. Well, let's see. What is this?
It's a business headline.
Ooh, it's the Obamas! Woo! Okay, guys. Now, for our actual final news story, we have the Obamas signing a contract for 4 years, I believe, for Netflix to be in their movies and shows. Ain't that nuts? Who would have thought that? Basically, what's going on here is they just want money. I'm kidding. Okay, so it's not probably a lie. But yeah, so, you know, they've been on David Letterman, and and basically they just doing a bunch of stuff. So what they are basically saying is that they want to do this because it's the dark times we're living in. They just want to be that light at the end of the tunnel that everyone can look forward to. A stuttering black guy that can't make good announcements.
I don't think
that
he
just
stuttered,
me?
did he?
He didn't. He'd be like, well, you see, well, I think you could call that a stutter. I think you could. I think it's in the realm.
Maybe. I don't think he did it often, though, if he did.
He was tripping left and right. He was tripping. Obama be tripping.
I didn't watch really much of any of Obama's speeches, to be honest, so...
Yeah, dude. But yeah, so they're gonna be doing lots of good stuff, hopefully, in the future. So if you start seeing them on Netflix shows, you know why now. Because you were with the Electrical Box, a great source of all news and really funky way of telling everybody about it.
Informally, specifically. If you find something wrong, don't hate us, please.
Yeah, and please come back. I know this was wonky, but please. I know, it's our first time, dudes. We've never done a podcast before. We're just trying to get into the groove.
Well, that's the end of the podcast. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more of it, hit the subscribe button. If you want to see more of Bro Powers, hit his channel up over there. And if you want to see more of my stuff, go on and hit my channel up over there. So, thanks for watching.
Oh, please subscribe. Make it worth the while. It's a lot to draw these things. Please.
Oh
Please. I've gotten to the point of begging, please.
Bye-bye. Let's turn it
Bye.
Markiplier.
Bye.